Hey everyone, how's it going tonight? I'll just wait for a few numbers to build up here. Wait till you're all kind of online. I see you, Tracy, Michael, right on. Okay, listen, before I start out, I want to say for everyone watching, there's a way to share the stream. So if you see a button on your screen that allows you to share, go ahead and share now. That's a bit of a force multiplier in terms of views. All right, so let's talk for a minute. Last time we had a talk, I was talking about veterans having a voice and how that voice is being heard. And it's growing. It's growing all across the country. We have people from different provinces coming to the protest, and I've been getting messages from all over the country, from military, from veterans, first responders, families of veterans, and everyone who supports the cause of veterans. And that's fantastic. Your last video, were about 7,600 views, which is fantastic. The world's getting around and there's a lot of support. Okay. So last video I gave you some homework, and that homework was to call Carol Lanthier and ask her why she was trying to change our protest date. And I got to tell you something, I'm really impressed. I gave you guys some homework and you put the heat on, and you put it on pretty good. Today I was down at CFB Petawawa, some of my old stomping grounds, Z120, the gun park. I did a trip to Base Medical Records, did some research, okay? And I found out some things. A lot of us know that VAC is talking about how a big part of our wait times has to do with getting medical records from the base. I got news for you, okay? I did a little research with the head guy in terms of medical records on the base. And we had a little talk about that. And he said, hey, Colin, if you want your medical records and you apply through DAP, it'll take upwards of 3 months to get all your medical records, okay? Fair enough. But here's the kicker. When VAC wants to know your medical records, when they need it from the base, guess what? They get it in a week around that time. Pretty crazy, right? It's nuts. I think VAC keeps us in the dark about some of that stuff, and they try and use it as an excuse, to try and use everyone else as an excuse. And that just ain't happening. But today is a great day to be a Canadian, and I'll tell you why. 15th of February 1965, 53 years ago, our flag, this flag right behind me, flew for the first time on Parliament Hill. And it's our National Flag Day. And it was a great day because it was a day where all Canadians were combined and represented on one flag. And we became our own unified nation. And that's fantastic. Well, guess what? 15th of February 2018, we're all going to make Canadian history, and we're bringing the fight down to Parliament Hill. As I was down at the gun park today, I was sitting talking to some of the troops and giving them a bit of an update as to what's going on, and my phone rang. And my phone rang, and I saw it was from the deep shadows of the government, Parliament Hill. And Carol Lanthier called me and said, hey Colin, guess what? Your protest permit that we approved on the 9th of January, it still stands. I guess your voice has been heard all the way down to the deep shadows of the government. They heard you, and it was too much pressure for them. They had to cave, and we got our day, and they're not fighting it. So we're going to be a voice 15th of February down on the hill. I've had a lot of people asking me, they're like, well, what are you protesting anyway? You know, well, how about this? How about a year wait time to find out yes or no on a claim. Seamus O'Regan hasn't even addressed that issue. He's focusing on the new Veterans Charter, which actually is another thing, rolls right into my next thing. It misses the mark for most applicants. It's great. We're starting to look at the critically injured and do something for them. But guess what? Even they've been cut short. They're getting like half the benefits they probably would have if they were before 2006. Really shameful. Thanks, Seamus. But it's missing the mark on a large crowd, the less injured, mental health, PTSD, your backs hurt, your legs hurt, your knees hurt, whatever, things that they consider less than critical, they're missing the mark. They haven't even addressed that issue yet. There's a giant disconnect between the departments and VAC. Different people within their organization have different levels of access to your information. You might call their toll-free number and get an intake worker on the phone, and they only have so much visibility into your file. So when you need an answer, a lot of times they can't always dig that deep. They don't always have the answers. They got to shift you off to another department, another department, another department. Guess what ends up happening? You tell them the same story over and over and over again to try and get an answer, right? Enough of that. And also Manulife. Manulife and VAC talking to each other, it's tough. My caseworker has a real challenge getting any info out of Manulife, even though I've signed disclosure agreements to share critical information to my health. It's just such a hassle, okay? So those are some of the things. I mean, homeless vets, Indigenous, Native vets, you know, don't try and narrow our focus down to those topics. They're just another part of our veteran family, and we're speaking for all vets here today, okay? Well, let's talk about the political stance. I've had people ask me, where do you stand? The progressives, the liberals, NDP, what all that stuff. Well, let's put it this way. There hasn't been a government that got it right yet, because if there was, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys about it, right? So let's do the hard work. Let's be a voice on Parliament Hill, and let's be a voice for all veterans. It's an exciting time to be a Canadian, because all of us as veterans, families of veterans, friends of veterans, everyone sympathetic to the cause can come down to Parliament Hill that day, 15th of February, 2018, between 10 and 4 p.m. and be a part of history and be a part of telling our government that we are tired of them leaving our veterans out in the cold. Okay, so where does this leave us now? What's the next thing, right? The protest is happening. You're getting your winter kit ready to get out there and be a voice for veterans on 15th of February. It should be a cold day. Well, I tell you what, there's some more homework out there. There's some really good stuff going on. There's the Veterans 3B support group. There's so many groups out there that have contacted me. Cracked Armor. There's so many of them out there. I couldn't even remember them all. But I want to tell you one thing. I want everyone right now that's watching this video to go over to Veteran Guerrilla Radio with Aaron Bedard, and I want you to add yourself onto their discussion page. There's a lot of things that are coming up and a lot of things that are coming. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag or steal Aaron's thunder, but let me tell you, the month of February is going to be an exciting month, not just for this protest, but there's a lot going on. Tune in and check out to see what Aaron's got to say. He's been a great support. He's been doing advocacy for like 6 years now, and he's in deep with a lot of the influence going on in policy right now, and it's only going to get better. We need to be a voice for veterans, and we need to get out there and make some noise. All right, and for Carol Lanthier, I had a feeling you'd come to see our way of thinking. After all, our Charter of Rights and Freedoms allows us to peaceful assembly. So, thanks a lot. Come join us, 15th February. Do your homework, get out, Veteran Guerrilla Radio, go see Aaron, join the discussion. Thanks for sharing, keep getting it out there, the word's getting out there, there's more traction going down, And it's a great thing. I'm really pumped to be a Canadian today. Great stuff. Let's hear what you have to say. Share, and share some more. Thanks a lot, troops, vets, and fellow Canadians. Take care.